Hey, moms.
Hey, daughters.
Sabrina has a quote for us.
The constant happiness is curiosity.
The constant happiness is curiosity. We're going to get back to that. Welcome to the Juggle is Real show,
A mom and daughter show
Parenting and Mental Health,
for moms and teens.
episode
15.
15. And I really hope everybody got to witness episode 14, where we brought a middle school's question. She asked us about mean girl drama. And so, again, I wanted to thank Maddie for bringing that on. So please go watch that episode. I thought that was really just beautiful. And we got a lot of really good feedback about that because it was super supportive. And so, along with that mean girl drama, I wanted to bring a quote from Mean Girls. Mean Girls, I've never seen that movie, but there's that quote. And you've used it before with me, Sabrina. It's like, I don't want to be a regular mom.
I want to be a cool mom.
I want to be a cool mom. I don't want to be a cool mom in the sense that I want to hang out with your friends. Like, that's not like what I mean. What I mean about being a cool mom is that I want you to be able to feel comfortable to have these trickier conversations. Okay. And so the conversation that I want to bring today is because we've kicked off holiday season. Last week was Thanksgiving, and holiday season is like parties, right?
Yes.
And so, but you've been having parties pretty much all school year already because we've had so many HOCOs. How many HOCOs have you been to?
3, I think.
Really? Okay. All right. I feel like she's had plenty of HOCOs and plenty of pre-parties and after parties and even parties not even a part of that. So having parties, the expectations within a party for you and the expectations from what parents don't want to happen. So this is a conversation that I want to navigate today. And so the quote, the constant happiness is curiosity. I wanted curiosity when I can be curious by asking you these questions over something that I feel is normal, but also I fear it. I absolutely fear what could potentially happen because there are a few things that have. One, I'm just going to share is that in the beginning of fall, my oldest is in college and he came home for fall break. And what typically happens for fall break, because I remember this, right? So remember, Dad and I have lived this before. There happens, when you come home for fall break from college, you're so excited that you've had a little bit of independence and you come back and get to hang out with your old friends. And then there was a party that happened and there was a drunk driving situation that happened and there was a fatality. A parent's worst nightmare, a kid's worst nightmare, a friend's worst nightmare, right? And so this is why I want to have this conversation, not to kill the fun out of it, but to really address these situations that can be super scary. Okay. And I didn't mean to start out with that because what I really wanted to say too is that yes, parties are just a part of life. Fun is a part of life. So let's talk about this and let's break it down into the different segments. Okay. So I think we have 5 segments for this episode today. And the first thing that I wanted to do is I just want to be curious is like break it down. What is the party scene? What's the party culture that you are experiencing now?
Drinking. I don't participate in that.
Okay, great.
I know. Just like hanging out with friends. Loud music.
All right, let me help you.
Clothing.
Okay, let me help you out. Okay, can I help you out? So a few episodes ago, it was actually when we talked about Ubers. Remember, Dad set you up with the kid Uber Teen app. I was working a call and you were supposed to spend the night with a friend. And Dad said that's next morning. This is a story. If it sounds familiar, this already happened, but I want to go deeper into share a little bit more about what you were leaving, why we'd need a kid Uber app. So I was working Friday night and you were supposed to spend the night at a friend's. And Dad said when he was sleeping, he woke up to a text that said, you were coming.
I was coming home.
You were coming home. A friend's mom was driving you home. All right. So why didn't you spend the night?
Because there's just a lot of drinking. I wasn't participating. And I just wasn't having fun.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Can we go back even
Mhm.
give me a little bit more information? I'm just being curious. Curious is the constant happiness here. So, did you know it was a party?
Yeah, I knew it was a party, but I also had another friend that wasn't drinking. But then it was also a party that my teammate invited me to, but it was for her school. And I knew some people, but it was still awkward.
Okay, so I'm just going to remind people if this is the first episode, Sabrina is 15 years old and she is a sophomore in high school. So, is this the first party you've been to?
Yes.
Right? Oh, it really is?
Mhm.
So, is this the
I tell you when I go.
Oh, look, you guys, this actually covers another segment. So, this is the first party with alcohol that you've been to?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay, sophomore. And I remember, I feel like mine was in freshman. So, did you arrive and there were people already there? Were parents there? So, was that somebody's home? Was that a
Mhm.
friend's home?
It
Right.
was her parents were there.
And she has siblings?
Yes.
Okay. She's the youngest,
Yes.
right? And she's got an older brother, obviously, because I said youngest.
Mhm.
And her brother is
A senior.
senior. And was it a mix of both friends?
No,
Okay. And so, how many people were there?
there was a lot, but, like, her parents want her to stick to, like, a sort of list,
Uh huh.
and
Oh,
but there was a lot more people that showed up. So
but her parents were there.
mhm.
Was it in the basement?
No, it was outside.
It was
Oh, it was
outside.
both.
Was there a theme for the party?
It was Halloween.
It was Halloween. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. It was Halloween, but there was alcohol. What kind of alcohol was there?
Twisted tea. I don't really know. I didn't pay
I'm
attention
just
to
trying
it.
to
But
get
I didn't pay attention to it, so I
yeah.
don't know. That's the only one I know.
Uh-huh. And it was so it was being provided by the parents,
No,
right? Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't.
Who was bringing the alcohol? Never mind,
Yeah.
because kids are resourceful. I've been a kid before. I've drank before. I've been resourceful before.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about peer pressure,
Okay.
right? So did you feel peer pressure there?
No.
Okay. How would you define peer pressure?
People persuading you, but,
Uh
like, they're persistent.
huh. Okay. And they weren't doing that there.
No. I think it's also because I had another friend who wasn't
Uh-huh.
drinking.
And so when I think about peer pressure, it was interesting when I was thinking about it because peer pressure that almost seems negative,
Mm,
right? But peer pressure can be positive in the sense that you want to be around people
lift you up.
who are yeah, and who are motivating. Like our youngest is in 6th grade, and when he went to this new middle school, I wanted him to be in a accelerated class because I thought that he would be surrounded by kids who were more motivated to
Mhm.
study, right? So that's a kind of peer pressure to stay more focused in that way. So that kind of peer pressure is in a positive way, positive meaning, I think it's more supportive in getting you to the so-called goals and achievements in academics, right? Because there's that quote that the 5 people that you surround yourself with, really impact your experience in life, right?
Mhm.
Because you become more like those 5 people. So you really want to surround yourself with people who, like you are, we talked about, good at soccer, who are just like athletic and care about academics, care about having fun. Like, you know your goals, like you know what you want in life. So you hang around people like that. But if you hang around people who are only playing Xbox or something, that's not really uplifting for you.
Mhm.
So there's that peer pressure that feels super negative. So you didn't experience peer
Mm-mm.
pressure, right? Okay. So you didn't experience it. What would you say you would how could it get tricky if you ever felt it?
So if I didn't have my friend there, I would definitely feel more peer pressured, and then I would probably would have given in.
You probably would have given in. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. All right, so let's get on to the second segment here. Okay, so here's why I think it's really important. All right. Let's develop a plan before you party strategy.
Okay.
A plan before you party strategy, which I think is really good, okay? Because these are like frameworks that you can use for all these different situations. like a plan before you have your year. We talked about that. It's like you use your imagination. What does your successful year look like? You already know. I want to stay good at soccer. I
Good grade.
want good grades, and then you wanted to stay social. So you know, and then you also know when you are derailed, right? So the plan before new party strategy is, like I said, play is super important. It's not just important, yes, because you're wired socially
Mhm.
to play, meaning you're not wired to be alone. Like we need social connection. Biologically, that's how we are. But also because play is super important. So if you remember in last week's episode when we talked about when you are in pain, you physically are hurt. It
Mhm.
releases chemicals that hurt. Well, the same thing with play. Play releases a lot of feel good hormones, right? So you physically feel better. But the thing with play is you have to know boundaries, right? You really have to know boundaries. So this is really what learning what uncomfortable feels like. And because, like I said, you are still 15, I don't expect you to have all the answers. But what's really important for you to know, Sabrina, is because let's go back to why we started the show, which is when you invited those boys over and you knew it wasn't a good idea, but what did you say in the moment?
YOLO.
You it's not versus you say, but you said in the moment, like you just weren't thinking in the moment. It sounded like a good idea in the moment,
Mhm.
right? So what I want you to know is why it's really important for you to have a plan before you party is because in the moment you don't know. Your brain is still developing, right? So that
Mhm.
thinking part of your brain is not online all the time yet. And it certainly won't be online if you are stressed and if you are feeling the peer pressure to do something that you feel uncomfortable with, right? So, yes, we know that alcohol, drugs, and all that is very detrimental to a developing brain. And I want to go into that here. That's not really what I wanted to do. You already are smart enough to know that. We can
Mhm.
go into later episodes if people want to know. Doubt people really want to know. I could just put it in the show notes if they want to know what can happen, because we are talking about mental health on this, but know that it negatively impacts your mental health, but also just really knowing that your brain is still developing, right? And because your brain is still developing, you think more emotionally. And sometimes when you think emotionally, when you are scared, you more react. You don't act more emotionally intelligent, right? Which is why it's super important to have this, again, pre-party plan strategy, right? One, know who's hosting your party. You felt pretty safe to go because you know she's a friend, right?
Mhm.
Two are the people that are going to be there. Know what you want to do. You said you were going to give in. Do you don't have to tell me here because I know it's on the show. Here's what I'm going to say to you. Again, I obviously have I'm no angel. I've been in those experiences where I've drank before, and I'm actually even said I'm going to be really transparent here. My husband and I are wine drinkers. And I would say to you, because when it becomes like it's a natural thing for kids to have wine in Europe, meaning it's not so called taboo in the sense, it's just part of the culture there, right? And curiosity often can, which is a really good thing, but when things are prohibited, people sometimes are so curious enough that they can take that curiosity and it's in a situation where it's not so-called control. So why I wanted to offer for you to have a sip of wine or experience something I talked about with another mom, is for you to experience what that is, what it's like, how it impacts you, because it obviously impacts you cognitively,
Mhm.
intellectually, emotionally. I wanted you to be able to experience it in a controlled situation rather than off alone with a bunch of friends and you're under peer pressure. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What I would say is if you know you are going to drink, you said you would have given in. And now that and I'm happy that you're being honest with me, is that maybe, yeah, in a situation now, dad and I are going to, and this is again, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but maybe you just try it with us so that way
Mhm.
like you know how it impacts you, right? Because if that were to happen, then all of a sudden the slippery slope of knowing your boundaries is gone because you've already impacted how, again, emotionally, intelligently coherent you can be to one, knowing your boundaries, saying no even more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? And then also, what I really wanted to say to you with the boundaries, and this is something that I've said to you before, because just as connection is a biological need, connection is a biological need, safety is the first biological need for you. So you need to feel safe first. But you have to recognize that in your body, Sabrina, because your thoughts, your thinking is a language of the brain, but how you feel is a language of your body. And you not feeling safe is a feeling in your body, right? And I would encourage you to start to recognize that. Like, really get around, like, when you don't feel safe, do you remember, like, when those girls made fun of you on social media? What did you feel?
Closed off.
You felt like your body felt closed off, perhaps how was your heart rate?
Beating really fast.
How was your breathing?
Heavy.
Heavy? So really recognize those, so then you can almost start to cue your thinking that something's off. You're not feeling safe, right?
Mm.
And then with this exit strategy, then also just know that, one, take the Uber app if mom and dad aren't available, or have this exit plan with a friend. Have a code, a word or something. I'm pretty sure that blame me, that could be another person. My phone's blowing up. My mom's calling me. I've microchipped your phone, anything like that. Just have a plan, because when you're again in those situations, rational thinking is pretty much not reliable.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I was going to say, when you start to learn your body, you start to learn to how to trust your gut. You really learn to trust yourself more. So then it becomes more in those situations that, like, when you inviting a boy over, it won't be like it just sounded so good. Okay. So the next segment I want to go to is what you wear matters. What you wear matters. So what are we wearing these days, Sabrina?
Sweatpants, jeans,
Small little tops.
that too.
So here's what I wanted to say about that. Because as much as that I love to promote individuality and authenticity, and also being open-minded and not being judgmental, it is a fact that it's a natural judgment at first. Does that make sense to you? I mean, and I try to be open-minded about it. And I'll just give an example. My youngest's school photo came out, and I had this conversation with him what to wear. I'm not saying it's right. It's just my own preference for him to wear like a white collared shirt and whatever. So I have a preference for it. And then immediately when I saw what happened, he did wear the white collared shirt, but he forgot to take his sweatshirt off, Sabrina. And immediately I had a word. I was just like, he looks sloppy. He looks like not a good
Mhm.
student. And I'm not saying that this is right. I'm just saying that I've had judgment over time, which is why I'm in this work of personal development, spiritual development, to observe this thinking that defaults to that often judgment. I mean, clothing is a nonverbal communication, right?
Mm.
And sometimes when you wear clothes that look, I don't know if you know what the word promiscuous means. What do you think that means?
Tiny,
I think it
scandalous.
looks like yeah, it looks like you're giving off signals of a sort. That
Mhm.
can happen because there are creepsters out there, Sabrina. That's just a fact. And as much as that you try to promote being open-minded, there are creepy people out there. And there is just and I'm going to say it again, there's just a biological difference between males and females, and that can be on another conversation. So I just want to say what you wear matters. It matters, right? Okay. So, segment 4, connect before you correct. And I wanted to say this to you because having these conversations, I'd like to know, when I'm saying connect before you correct, I'm saying when things ultimately, like, we obviously had arguments, which is why we're here having this show. So we can have these conversations, navigate the complexities of having conversation, or really dialogue about it. So when I say connect before you correct, what would you say to me? How would you recommend to me, advice to me, what I can do so that when like you shared with me here that you probably would have given in. What would you recommend for me so that way you feel comfortable to keep having these conversations? Like when you do drink.
Just listen and hear my side of things before you get angry. Take a breath. Yeah, that's it.
Or use that quote,
Which one?
curiosity.
The constant happiness is
The
curiosity.
constant happiness is curiosity. So I'll stay curious as to what you were thinking and all that. Anything else that you want to share with me? Like any specific tools? I love how you're using take a breath because that is something that is really important. And that's what I would actually sorry to turn it back, but that's what I would say to you for one of your exit strategies when you
Mm,
feel like you feel uncomfortable and you're recognizing your body as deep exhales because it's just automatically going to work with your body. Anything else that you want to say?
I don't think so.
Okay. So the last thing I want to say before I end is boundaries. And what I wanted to say about boundaries is one, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to give
Reason.
you don't have to give it a reason why. This is something I still work on right now. And I know that's uncomfortable, but here's the deal with boundaries. And this was just a few years ago that I learned about it. Why boundaries is so hard is because you have to sit in the discomfort of disappointing somebody else.
I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to that, you would have given in because it would have felt uncomfortable for one, the other person to drink while you're not drinking.
Mhm.
So just offering that for you. We'll work on that. All right. And I know this was a heavier conversation. I mean, there's really no way of keeping it super light when you're talking about something as serious about
Mhm.
alcohol and parties and please don't drive. And it's not even just alcohol, it's drugs, it's fentanyl, and all that. I feel like this isn't a closed conversation yet. However, I do want to end it, and I would love to end it holiday edition because play is super important. Love to close it out with a little play is asking Sabrina this or that, some holiday this or that questions.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So don't think about it. Go with your gut. Learn to practice gut
That's what my
reaction.
teacher
All
said.
right. Home Alone or Elf?
Home Alone. Oh, wait. Ooh.
Okay. Too bad. Can't go back. Christmas cookies or gingerbread?
Christmas cookie.
Eggnog or hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate.
Peppermint latte or regular hot chocolate?
Peppermint latte.
Peppermint latte or pumpkin spice latte?
Pumpkin spice latte.
The Grinch or Charlie Brown?
The
Eh.
the Grinch. No, Charlie Brown.
Candy canes or chocolate kisses?
Chocolate kiss.
Superman is a Christmas movie? Yes or no?
No,
But your boyfriend.
he's
Oh,
Spider-Man.
Spider Man. Never mind. Okay. That's definitely a no. Pancakes or French toast? Christmas morning.
French toast.
Okay. Christmas tree lights, white or colorful?
White.
Ugly Christmas sweater or festive pajamas?
Festive pajamas.
Real tree or artificial tree?
Real tree.
Karen. We
We
ha-
had a blue tree.
named Karen. Okay. Snowy Christmas or warm Christmas?
Snowy Christmas.
Secret Santa or white elephant?
Secret Santa.
Wrapping gifts or gift bags?
Gift wrapping. Wrapping gifts. I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy it. I find it more intentional. Is that the right word?
Yeah. It takes a little bit more time. So you do
Yeah.
have to be more intentional. Okay. Christmas Eve or Christmas Day celebrations?
Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve Mass or Christmas Day Mass?
Christmas Eve mass.
Okay, Christmas music, classic carols or modern Christmas pop hits?
Modern.
Okay.
But like, which one's which? Like Justin Bieber. Which one would he fall under?
Yeah,
Modern.
I guess. Yeah, you would definitely be modern. Okay. Holiday shopping in store or online?
In store.
Okay. Hot cider or eggnog?
Hot cider.
Hallmark Christmas movies or classic Christmas specials?
Classic Christmas specials.
Do it yourself gifts or store bought gifts?
I like both.
Okay. Family holiday dinner or Friendsgiving? So bad.
I love my friends. What can I
I
say?
love how you love your friends. Okay. All right. You didn't answer.
Family. Friendsgiving with family.
Never.
Wait. Family.
Fram.
Family
Okay.
giving.
Okay. All right. You win.
We did that one.
You'll still get presents from me. All right. Okay. Last one. Winter Wonderland or Tropical Getaway?
Winter Wonderland.
Oh, really? Okay.
For
So we're never
Christmas,
going to
you
do
think?
that? All right.
'Cause
All
I
right.
like it to be cool.
All right. So thanks for having this conversation. I feel like I want to go a little bit deeper because you've only had one. You've only had one experience. So I'm sure this is not a close thing. But that's it for now.
Mhm.
Thanks for listening.